Morning. It's wonderful to see you all here this morning on this slightly damp spring morning, celebrating the wonderful music. Welcome to newcomers, longtime members, first-time visitors. My name is Magdalene Lindeberg, and I'm the Celebration Associate this morning. May we gather today to nurture our connections, seek inspiration, and embrace change. Pluralism is our theme for May. I decided to look that up. What is pluralism exactly? It is a condition or system in which two or more states, groups, or principles peacefully coexist. I can't think of any concept that is more important for us to consider at this moment in time. If you are new or visiting for the first time, I invite you to fill out a yellow pew card, place it in the offertory plate during the offertory session. The yellow pew cards are in the little pockets in the back of the pews. You can also drop it off at the welcome table in the parlor after the service, right through these doors, where we also have coffee and conversation following the service. Please read the announcements in your order of service. I have two in particular I want to draw your attention to. Today at noon in the annex, there will be a program on Alzheimer's and dementia, led by Stephanie D'Amico. Please check your order of service for details. Second announcement, thank you to everyone who participated in the service auction last weekend. Did you miss the opportunity to win some wonderful items? If so, we are having an after-auction sale which closes at the end of today. Go to the auction site, check out items that are still open, and contact Marie Benedetti with an offer, which can be well below the start bid. If the offer is accepted, that item is yours. Thanks for your support, and also items which you did win in the auction, you can pick up. Thank you. Now, before we light our chalice, let's take a moment to greet one another. Join me in the chalice lighting words which are written in your order of service. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. Opening words are taken from The Community of All Souls by Dick Gilbert. Dick Gilbert was our settled minister in the 1960s and an interim minister, 2002 to 2004. We belong to the great community of all souls, a long procession of humanity stretching back in time beyond our comprehension, sharing life with us in this time and space, scattered across the globe in all our diversity, poised to enter a future we cannot yet imagine. We are privileged to be part of such a race of creatures who have marveled at the miracle of birth, who have found meaning in the midst of life, and who stand humbly before the mystery of death. We will now sing our first hymn. You can rise in body or spirit. We will sing 315, This Old World. And if there are any kids who would like to pass baskets, you can come on down and I will hand those baskets to you, or Madeline will.
World like to invite anyone who feels called to sit on the steps with me today to come down and join me for our time for wonder. Now, who has not opened up our Wonder Box recently? Charlie, do you want to open it up? You want me to break it down? You can tell us what's in it. Here. Pears! What do you guys think about pears?
I want a pear.
You want a pear? We can hand out pears. I think there's enough for everyone here. You can take a pear if you'd like a pear. I think pears are so yummy. They're the best.
Yeah, they're the best. My sister loves them.
Your sister loves them too?
Yeah, but her is having a sleepover.
She's having a sleepover? That sounds really fun too. Almost as fun as pears.
We get to keep the pears.
You can definitely keep the pear.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a story to tell you guys. It's a story about a pear tree, okay? It goes a little something like this. There once was a man who had 4 children. He wanted to teach all of them about the dangers of judging things too rapidly before you see all aspects of the situation. So he decided to send each of his children on a journey. One after the other, they went to view a distant pear tree. Each child traveled in a different season, the first in winter, the second in spring, the third in summer, and the fourth in the fall. At the end of the year, he brought his children together and he asked them about what they had seen and observed. What do you think the first child saw that visited the tree in the winter? What does the pear tree look like in the winter? Yeah, it's barren with no leaves. That's right, so he described a gnarled, twisted, and barren tree that stood stark and lifeless against the cold and snow. What about the one who visits the tree in the spring? What do we see on the tree in the spring? Maybe some flowers. What do you think? Maybe. I think we might see more buds in the spring. More buds, yeah. So in the spring, he saw a tree that seemed full of hope and promise, with many green buds along its branches and tiny little blossoms just beginning to bloom. Now, how about the child who saw the tree in the summer? What have you seen then? What do you think? Yumminess. So I think they saw a beautiful tree covered in blossoms with lush green leaves, looking and smelling absolutely divine. The one who made the journey in the fall, though, they described a tree with sweet and delicious pears that tasted better than anything they had ever seen before. Now, after each child had spoken with their father, his father said they're actually all correct. He told them that it's impossible to make wise and fair judgments when we only see one little moment. He further explained that the essence of something, whether it's a tree or a person, can only be measured as a whole. At the end of the year, having seen all of its development and fullness. And we know, even then, we still aren't seeing all of it. We didn't watch it grow or change. We didn't watch the storms that it weathered, and we couldn't see the roots. To make a negative judgment in the winter is to miss the promise of the fall and the beauty of the summer and then the delicious fruit of fall. So, friends, I encourage you all to be kind and compassionate, to be open. Don't judge yourself like other people based on a single moment. Refuse to let the pain of one season destroy the joy of what is to come in the future. If we did, we might miss the sweetness that is to come. And in fact, we're all going to share this sweetness today, so you can all take your fruit if you would like one. And with that all being said, I would like to invite any parents who have not yet signed their children out for RE to join me in the parlor. And then I invite everyone else to sing us out with Where You Go, which can be found in the back of your gray hymnal. Today we will sing Beloved.
Welcome. I just finished my small group on pluralism. This is a huge topic. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. In a spirit of reverence, love, and care, we take time now to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community. We want to share those events that call for our prayers, support, our praise, and celebration. I have a note from Carol Whitlow, who would like prayers and light for her as she goes under surgery on the 7th, which is just Tuesday. You can connect her through the breeze. Also, I have an announcement that Dilmaron Agozi died yesterday at Kendall. Prayers will be held 2 p.m. today, Sunday, May 5th, at the Al-Huda Islamic Center of Ithaca, followed by burial at Green Springs Natural Cemetery. Dilmaron was in good health until recently, but shortly after the eclipse, which was just less than a month ago, discovered that cancer had reinvaded her body. Her friends are planning a gathering for sometime in the summer. For those we are holding in our hearts, in our thoughts, and perhaps in our prayers, let us call these names out loud into this community, into this space of healing and hope right now. We extend loving kindness to all in our world, and let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, may our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up for our lives, each other, with an open heart, no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be. Amen.
Before the meditation, I want to really lift up how wonderful it was that so many of our congregants and friends of Dilmaron were there to visit. There was often a line waiting, and her last week was very hard. And I want to especially lift up Loretta, who has been our dedicated contact for the care team. It's been a tough time, so let us hold each other in prayers. And Dilmaron's memory. Our meditation today is from Reverend Elizabeth Tarbuck's. When I see you with worry on your brow and shadow in your eyes, and I say to you, what's up? Remind me gently that I was not there when you made that journey to the center of your soul. Tell me as kindly as you can that I am sleeping when night clutches you, and you are driven to a place in your heart which is ever night. Do not let me say, don't worry, when worry is all you know, and it feels as if worry is all you'll ever know. For none of us ever really walks in another's shoes or knows the innermost rooms of a person's heart. None of us truly knows the lonely places of another's journey or the causes of the lines around someone's eyes. Therefore, let us be gentle with one another. Let us listen more than we speak and accept more than we judge. Let our open, outstretched hands reach and touch, that we may work together for a little while in friendship and in trust. May this be so. Blessed be.
Good morning, everybody. This is a poem from my favorite poet, Carl Dennis, called The Great Day. What if the great day never comes, and your life doesn't shine with vivid blossoms, just with the usual pale variety? What if the best china never seems called for? Those dishes reserved for the friends you love the most on the day they return from their endless travels. To use them now, for the only occasions available, would be to confuse the high realm with the low. But not to use them. Doesn't that seem wrong too? To leave the best wine undrunk in the cellar for the next owner of your house to open. What then? Can you will yourself to see a common day the way a saint might see it, as a gift from heaven? Or the way it appears in the window of the hospital on the first morning the patient feels strong enough to edge across the room and look out? There on the street, an angel policeman is directing the flashing mosaic of traffic. Or you can see the day as the dead might see it, not the ones who'd rather rest, but those delighted to abandon the gardens of hell, however fragrant, for a chance at crossing the sea again in a storm. The day their ship, long given up for lost, steams into the harbor, all flags flying, would be the day to be toasted with rosé champagne in heirloom glasses. Down the gangway they come, a little thinner, a little unsteady, eyes wide in wonder at their rare good fortune. Can you see what they see as they look around, or feel what their friends waiting on the dock must feel as they run forward? Let me look at you, they keep saying, suspending their formal speech of welcome. You look good. You look wonderful.
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. If you're watching remotely, instructions for giving using your phone or computer will appear on the screen during the offertory music and in the information below the live stream image on YouTube. If you're attending in person, our ushers will pass the plate. please join me in saying the offertory words printed in your order of service. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
Good morning, everyone. I want to mention just right now, and I'll mention it again later at the end of the sermon today, the hymn to finish us up is a little bit different, or quite a bit different. It's number 103, For All the Saints. So a reading, Halley's Comet by Stanley Kunitz. Miss Murphy in first grade wrote its name in chalk across the board and told us it was roaring down the storm tracks of the Milky Way at frightful speed. And if it wandered off its course and smashed into the earth, there'd be no school tomorrow. A red-bearded preacher from the hills with a wild look in his eyes stood in the public square at the playground's edge, proclaiming he was sent by God to save every one of us, even the little children. "Repent, ye sinners," he shouted, waving his hand-lettered sign. At supper, I felt sad to think that it was probably the last meal I'd share with my mother and my sisters. But I felt excited too, and scarcely touched my plate. So Mother scolded me and sent me early to my room. Now the whole family's asleep, except for me. They never heard me steal into the stairwell hall and climb the ladder to the fresh night air. Look for me, Father, on the roof of the red brick building at the foot of Green Street. That's where we live, you know, on the top floor. I'm the boy in the white flannel gown, sprawled on this coarse gravel bed, searching the starry sky, waiting for the world to end. I planned that. One night, about a month ago, my wife and I were watching the Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball team play an NCAA playoff game on the TV that was being contested in Albany, New York. The announcer asked Caitlin Clark, the star of the team, how she had spent her day in Albany. The reply was that she mostly slept, as what else was there really ever to do in Albany? Ironically, my wife and I were watching that game from our hotel room in Albany, which by sheer coincidence was no more than one football field away from the arena where Clark and her teammates were playing. We were on vacation in Albany and having a great time. Maybe fun is what you make of it. What drew us to Albany was a concert of a funk band, Too Many Zoos, with which I am enraptured. The next night after the game, Barb and I went to their concert at a small local venue. It was wonderful. It was, in a word, rocking. Despite needing a cane to stand upright in the packed venue with no seats, and easily being the oldest guy in the room, I was rocking. Bopping to the music, the very loud music, having a great time. Next to me was a young woman, I'll call her Katie, who was really, really rocking. She was bopping to the music coming both from the band and, I would say, from inside her own head. And yes, her exuberance did jostle us once in a while, but it didn't do any harm. But I, inside my little head, was judging her. How inappropriate, I was thinking. Disapproval and scorn was my quiet response. I guess you could say I was channeling my own interior Reverend Ebenezer Gay. Okay, I'm now going to portray one of my idiosyncrasies, an odd interest in Unitarian history. You are probably asking, other than a guy with a really cool name, who is the Reverend Ebenezer Gay? Until his death in 1787, he served as the minister of the First Parish Church in Hingham, Massachusetts. And he must have been beloved, for he served a thriving congregation for almost 70 years. And this despite the fact he was openly loyalist in a community that was heavily patriotic. But the reason Reverend Gay is remembered by historians today is that he, along with his colleagues Charles Chauncey and Jonathan Mayhew, all ministers in the so-called Standing Order of churches in New England, these three paved the way for modern Unitarianism. Though not claiming the title Unitarian, a step far too controversial at their time, these men and others like them preached a Christian doctrine of rational religion and gradual moral improvement. Though they led churches founded by Puritans just a century or so earlier, they downplayed doctrine and, secretly at least, forgot about hell. Great stuff, isn't it? You can see why their theology is thought of as laying the groundwork for the Unitarian denomination that emerged a generation later in the early 1800s. But they were fighting against the tides of American religious history. For while Ebenezer's theology drifted toward an intellectual Unitarianism, popular American religion was in the throes of going the opposite way. For Ebenezer Gay's long tenure overlapped with the First Great Awakening, followed on its heels by the Second Great Awakening. The Great Awakenings emphasized an emotion-laden faith, personal conversions, revivals, and the imperative to evangelize. Arguably, this is the most characteristic American faith, and we have exported it to the world. Think Jonathan Edwards or Billy Graham. Think speaking in tongues or the evangelical right. And Ebenezer Gay loathed it, as did Charles Chauncey and Jonathan Mayhew. They saw it as anything but true Christianity, a lowering, if you will, of the message of Jesus, a heresy that needed to be vigorously opposed. Within the churches of the Standing Order, they won the battle, for their churches did eventually become Unitarian, bastions of a quiet, intellectual faith. But on a larger scale, they lost the war. The inheritors of the Great Awakening, untold thousands of Methodist, Presbyterian, and Baptist churches spread like wildfire over the country. These denominations are today the institutional descendants of the Great Awakening, and the evangelical churches, so prominent now, are their theological descendants. We UUs, in contrast, are comparatively few. Okay, but what does that got to do with Katie, the young woman at the concert who was bopping all too vigorously? The person whom I was judging so harshly, much like Ebenezer Gay judging the Great Awakening. I doubt very much that she had the slightest notion at the time or care of Ebenezer Gay and the Great Awakening. But I was, in my mind, judging her in that very same spirit. For in my mind, she was a heretic. I know that seems odd, so let me explain. A heretic is someone who knowingly acts in a way contrary to the prevailing norms, who does so by choice. In my little Ebenezer mind, I disdained her as rejecting common notions of how one ought to think, to act, and to behave. And that made her an other, an outsider. But then I got to thinking, maybe most of you, if only you knew me better, would call me a heretic. I have given many, many sermons here in this space to this congregation, but I haven't lately. If truth be known, this has been out of fear. A fear of being judged heretical, another, an outsider. For as you will see in a minute, I am a backslider. I have spent a lifetime pondering spiritual questions. I am the boy on the roof in the poem. For I have spent countless hours scanning the skies, searching. What have I been searching for? Answers, I guess. And if not answers, at least ways of thinking that provide comfort and guidance. I think all of us, each in our own way, look for that. Life can be hard for everyone, me included. Finding comfort and guidance in this world is something we can all use. So here's why I think you might find me heretical. I find comfort and guidance in an ongoing relationship with a personal God. I cultivate the practice of the presence of God through prayer, meditation, and reading. Though I do not reject the insights of thinkers from the panoply of world religions, the depths and glories of the Christian tradition are my mainstay. I read the Bible daily, in the original Koine ancient Greek no less. I even find insight in the doctrine of the Trinity. You won't hear that often from a Unitarian pulpit. Theism such as this is not a popular standpoint in the UU churches of today. Trust me, both implicitly and explicitly, comments about God and Christianity are often quite derisive from those in our movement. And given the distastefulness of much of what passes as Christian religion today, I guess I can understand the reason for this disdain, at least to some extent. But why then am I here? Wouldn't it be better for me on my spiritual journey to associate with theologically like-minded sorts? Why be here, given the great diversity that I know is before me? Very simply, because I'm a heretic. And you are all heretics, for you choose. To be a heretic means to choose what you believe and how to act. And what are you if not people who choose? Heretics. But why do it together, in this place, in this tradition? After all, most of the heretical forms of folks outside our walls do not affiliate with us and see no need to be with us. Why bother with all the headaches of organized religion? And as we know, heretics can be prickly. A big part of why we are here, I think, is that we can help one another. No, I am not out to convert you, nor am I eager to be converted. However, I am quite willing to share my insights with others, to offer whatever I have found, whatever helps me, and I'm also eager to listen to you, discover what you have found. But keep in mind, I should not believe that I need to convince you that you are wrong in order for me to rise. And I would hope that you don't need to convince me that I am wrong in order for you to rise. Have you found beliefs that help you on your journey? Wonderful. No one has the right to tamper with your wonderful story for their own selfish purposes. So what should we do? Whatever we do, however we do it, let's do it with enthusiasm. Listen to this passage from Annie Dillard's book, Teaching a Stone to Talk. On the whole, I do not find Christians outside of the catacombs sufficiently sensible of conditions. Does anyone have the foggiest idea what sort of power we so blithely invoke? Or, as I suspect, does no one believe a word of it? The churches are children playing on the floor with their chemistry sets, mixing up a batch of TNT to kill a Sunday morning. It is madness to wear lady straw hats and velvet hats to church. We should all be wearing crash helmets. Ushers should issue life preservers and signal flares. They should lash us to our pews, for the sleeping God may wake someday and take offense, or the waking God may draw us out to where we can never return. That's Annie Dillard. Perhaps we should be aiming at creating a church that needs to issue crash helmets. People flock to the evangelical churches all over the world in anticipation of, well, thunder. And we should too. This place too can and should be a place where people come anticipating thunder. And at the very least, if thunder is not to your taste, a little tremor or a ray of enlightenment, unexpected, and yet always anticipated. What is your passion? Bring it here, share it, expect it, ask for it. Intelligent stimulation? There are 100 minds among us. Enthusiastic children? Leave at that. Opportunities to serve? Got it. Spiritual sustenance? Listen and look. But remember, we are here to support one another. Each of us is Katie. Embrace her, welcome her. Fight the Ebenezer within that seeks to look down on the other as different. Let no one suffer the unaccompanied mile totally alone. The world needs us to embrace heretics. Doing this is hard work. Is First Unitarian of Ithaca a community that can be a place of acceptance? A place where we need crash helmets? These pews, these walls, the very air we breathe, all cry out yes. For we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, some with us still, some no longer in this place or even on this earth. Heretics all. And their dynamism, however prickly, lives on. No, I don't expect those that have passed on will ever return in material form on that great day. But if that ship were ever to arrive, I would be there, first in line, for a handshake, and maybe a hug. To hear their voices, to feel their presence again, that would be heaven. Just think about getting a chance to greet the people you have lost from your own life. What a day that would be. But we need not imagine it, for they surround us today and every day. As sure as day follows night, we are in the presence of a great cloud of witnesses that will never abandon us or be forgotten. Listen for their thunder and get out your crash helmet. Amen. Please open and stand as you are, willing and able, to hymn number 103, For All the Saints.
In this hour of reflection, we pledge ourselves anew to our place in this great cloud of witnesses who commit our energies to the beloved community of which we are members, one of another. We are servants of life and wish to be counted among those who will work for justice, love, and compassion in this blessed community of souls. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our service is ended. Let our true service now begin. Thank you so much. Go in peace and join us in the parlor.